Hello there, and we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you are welcome. Yeah, to another show. Yeah, and this one, yeah, happens to be a very important one because throughout this year, yeah, I haven't brought a rival fan to do a preview of of an upcoming game. So this marks the first time I'll be doing it, and it's special, yeah, because this guest, yeah, is a special guest of mine, yeah, because I knew this guy this year. Me and him went to the American Idiot show, and since then it has been uh, you know. Good, positive vibes with this particular person and podcaster. He runs West Ham uh, podcast, West Ham channel, and he's doing quite well, And particularly, I like how he talks football. Very knowledgeable, and he's an easy going person, and easy person to work with because I've done something with him before. See, guys, yeah, welcome. No other person than my friend West Ham fan, yeah, Doors TV, and his name is Tony. Tony, welcome to the
Tony,
show, bro.
Tony, Tone.
How you
Thank
doing,
you.
man?
I'm good, my friend, and thanks for inviting on board. It's always a pleasure being on a show with you. Great topics going to be talked about today, and as
Yeah.
always, Tony, Tone, po.
Po. You see, yeah, guys, he's not an Arsenal fan, yeah, but he understands everything. So he gets a po because a friend of the house. We're also building a community, that respect each other, and he's a part and parcel of that community. So, big ups to you. You get that po right now. Po. You're welcome to the show, Tony. I've always wanted to, have you alone on a show so that me and you could actually, exchange ideas and really, talk about our teams last year, I think last season, yeah, when I was always talking about Arsenal that we're gonna win the league, that I had confidence in the team, not particularly in Mikel Arteta, but in the team. We fell short from that evaluation. So
Mm.
you know, uh, just before we delve into this West Ham Arsenal matchup, how will you evaluate the Arsenal you're seeing right now with the
Uh,
Arsenal that competed last season for the trophy and just lost it out from that challenge, which is 5 points? What are the differences? What do you see? Have they improved? Have they digressed? What are your thoughts, Tony?
I think, yeah, I think you have digressed. You're not the same unit as you was last season, that's for sure. Last season you was more competitive. There was more flow about you. This season, you're playing good football in spells, but there's
Mm,
a lot of obviously frailty going on. There's a lot of mistakes still being made, and
yeah.
obviously you've got to look at the personnel. You've changed the keeper
Mm,
for good or for bad. It's very much up in the air because obviously Ramsdale was good for you last season. He kept you in quite a few games. You
mm,
bring in Raya, and we know obviously he's a decent keeper, but at the same point we see that he's making mistakes. And if you look at it in certain respects, you've got to question who's going to be Flappy Antsky of the season. Is it going to be Onana or is it going to be Raya? That's going to be an
mm.
interesting one.
That's gonna be an interesting one. But again, the goalkeeping situation. Anyway, we'll delve into that when we get into the game analysis. But when we're talking about goalkeepers, yeah, Raya has always been a very respected goalkeeper in this league because he played for Brentford, had superior distribution methods. Uh, uh, you know, um, the way he actually commands his back four at Brentford, it's something to around. And of course, goalkeepers that actually are ball playing goalkeepers are usually highly rated in this league.
Mm,
Of course, with Edison, Allison, leading the park in ball distribution, ball playing, cross field passes, and bringing in their defenders and actually commanding their back four. So uh, that one is, I think, is just a big a problem that Mikel Arteta actually caused by himself. But Raya in particular, yeah, will you say he's just it's just the pressure of of coming into a bigger football club like Arsenal that has caused all these problems for him in particular because he was such an amazing goalkeeper at Brentford.
Yeah, no, I think you might be right there. It's as you said, it's the case of you're coming to a more an established, higher ranked club than Brentford,
Hmm.
and is a lot to take on board. You've got to kind of live up to the stigma of previous keepers. Ramsdale, like I said, he did very well for you last season, and now
Mm,
you've got to try and match that. But once you make one mistake, the fans are only going to be kind for so long. And once
mm,
you see one after the other, then suddenly it's a case of we're not too sure about this keeper. He's kind of he can do certain
mm,
things, but at the same
yeah,
point, he's costing us some games as well. So yeah, I think
definitely.
it could be a lot of pressure for him because obviously,
Uh,
as you said,
big,
it's
big
it's this, the step up, isn't it? In that respect.
step up. Yeah, big pressure on him. Football Bant is down here. It says, smash the button on your way in. Also, keeping it real. Chelsea is also down here. He says, the game needs to be watched with rice dish. Of course, I'll be grilling Tony about Declan Rice, definitely. Carl Rossi is also in the building. He says,
Big up,
get the
Carl.
lights up early. Big up to you. Mama Flossie, who remains my only moderator on my channel. Big up to you, Mama Flosse. You're welcome to the channel. How are
The
you
queen
doing,
of
Mama
the queen
Flosse?
of
Hope you're
YouTube.
good. Exactly, the queen of YouTube. And she says, evening, Tony, Ellie Doors. Of course, we're both Tony, we share that. So, it's quite good. McManus Gaming is down here too. Big up to you. See, Tony, see, this is the big one. Yeah. Arsenal versus West Ham at the Emirates. Now, look, see, West Ham have in 7 games, West Ham have only just lost two. You've drawn
Yep.
one in
Hmm.
7 games. I included your the European competition you're in. I think the Conference League. That's where you're in right now.
Yeah.
Into that fray too. You did beat Freiburg, yeah, 2-0. You took a bashing at Anfield, yeah. I think the scores was 5-1 in that game.
Five
But
one.
again, you lost to Fulham 5-0. You came under the hammer on that one, yeah, 5-0. To be very frank, yeah, that was a London derby. You were at Fulham, you were at Craven Cottage at the time. But again, that only marks the only 2 games that you've actually dropped points in about 7 to 8 games. The
Yeah.
other game you dropped points was against Crystal Palace. Apart from that, you've been mauling teams, beating teams with two
Mm,
from 2 goals upwards. No 1-0 wins. You in that trail of 7 games, you've beaten Manchester United. Uh, um, if I can check right, Tottenham Hotspurs have smelt the rod of the hammers at the same
yeah.
time. Wolves were also beating Black and Blue in London. See, to be very sincere with you, you guys are on a roll. What do you have
We
to
are.
say?
Yeah, we are on the roll. I mean, when you look at it, we're knocking on the door for the Champions League.
Mm,
And as much, I mean, Funfree was talking about it yesterday. The fact that we've won the Europa Conference, which has now got us into the Europa League, we're now
mm,
looking decent enough to, like I say, push on to the Champions League. So as much as people mock the Europa Conference Cup,
yeah.
look where it's got us.
Mm,
So, and in certain respects, this is where we've got a kind of a little bit of bragging rights against using that because we've got this big old piece of silverware we can show, which unfortunately at the moment you can't.
yeah.
So it's that that comes into mind, kind of thing. But yeah, I think it also comes down to good business in the summer with the players that we've bought,
Mm, mm,
and it suits Moyes' style to have tall players in there. We're very good at set pieces, and
yeah.
when you look at it, we can always rely on Souček to pop up with a goal near the end
Yeah.
and deliver from that. And plus the fact with Ward-Prowse giving you silver platter service sometimes with these corners and free kicks,
Mm.
are you guys going to be able to deal with it? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing that see, but the thing there is that this season, yeah, despite me thinking that you guys are still on a roll, like just remove that Liverpool dropping, you guys are really on a roll. But the thing there is that there are some in some games, that's just how you guys just fizzle out of those games. Like in games like the Fulham game, something happened, and
Yeah.
you guys just snapped off off your rhythm at the time, and Fulham, it gave you that bashing. Liverpool also, you couldn't actually put in that fight against them in the
No.
Carabao Cup. It was utterly disgraceful, that score line. Even if I do know you guys do have the resources to actually go head to head with Liverpool on a good day, but you guys still lost that game. Do you still think that you guys do you think it's about more about the concentration levels, where there are games like in the game against Manchester United, you pull your weight, you win the game.
Mm.
In the game against Wolves, you pull your weight, you win. But it comes to a game against Fulham, you couldn't pull your weight, you lost it.
Yeah.
Liverpool lost that game. Like,
Hmm.
what is it about concentration levels on West Ham this season? You're getting in on games, you're winning some games, and there's just some games you think you guys would just win or at least put up a fight. It just fizzles out.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you look at it, we've got to look at the fact that we are West Ham, and considering like with yourselves, you know,
Mm,
there's a standard you expect of Arsenal.
yeah.
Unfortunately, with West Ham and that, and as much as they're my team, I know
Mm,
we're sometimes inconsistent with our performances. Like you
yeah.
said, the Liverpool game, you knew full well after they got that draw against you, someone
Yeah.
was going to get a hammering, and unfortunately, it was us. Pardon the pun.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Um, the
It had
Fulham
to
game,
happen.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course, yeah, and you knew it was going to be one of them. But then we showed that in the next game, we played
Mm,
much better, and if we give that kind of game to Liverpool, it'll be a different story.
mm.
Big up Yeti as well.
Big ups,
Um,
Yeti. Big up McManus Gaming also. Big up to you guys.
some real people in the chat today, and
Yeah,
I think, and when you look at the Fulham game, I think we could still be there now, and we wasn't going to be
mm,
scoring whatsoever
whatsoever.
because
Mm.
Bowen was missing. I think he missed two or three chances.
Two
There was
or
one that
three chances.
one that was clear
Yeah.
cut, and he completely,
Mm,
wide, sent it wide.
but again, you guys just have only Bowen there as the only striker uh, right now that's actually trying to pull his weight. Uh, what happened to any other person to come in, because I really do think that you should be looking at the striker in the January transfer window. Just like Arsenal, we're
Yeah.
having problems in front of goal. I know we'll go into a deep analysis of what's going to go on in the game, but uh, isn't Bowen a little bit under under pressure to actually produce goals? And if he's down or if he's not what he should have built, it doesn't just happen for West Ham.
This is the thing. Obviously, we can't rely on Antonio anymore. Um,
Mm,
the man's, don't get me wrong, he's been great for us, but we do need
yeah.
a striker.
Mm,
And I was saying yesterday, the fact of Skamaka and Haller,
mm,
Moyes didn't play to their kind of strengths, rather than rather he wanted to play it to his style of football, and
yeah.
we didn't get no goals out of him, or we got less than 5 goals or so.
Mm,
But then they go and join other clubs and yeah, score for fun. And it's just one way of seeing it.
mm,
Just like you guys, you brought in
yeah.
Jesus. There was that little bit
Mm,
of effect. It worked well,
yeah.
but then it fizzled out.
It fishes
So
out. Yeah.
you're looking at Tony. We're looking at Solanke. I think we Emanike. We're looking at him again.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think also Spurs are looking at that guy as well. So it'd
As
be
well too.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very, very interesting that you raised up the name of Dominic Solanke. Dominic Solanke, 2 seasons ago, he played. Of course, he was still playing for Bournemouth in the championship. He scored about 29 goals 2 seasons ago
Mm,
for Bournemouth in the championship. Last season, he scored a total of 6 goals. Check this out. This season, he's doubled his tally for Bournemouth Football Club. He scored 12 goals. Let that sink in, Tony. And again, with what I was hearing in the news, Arsenal will be looking at him as a backup alternative if we don't lay our grip tight on Ivan Tony in the transfer window this January.
mm.
So he's a pretty much sought after striker right now. Do you think you're in that fray to actually grab him? And again, I was also hearing that West Ham are being the big shout for Eddie Nketiah. Do you respect Eddie Nketiah in any way? I know what you think about him, but I'll just allow you to spill the beans.
I think sometimes when you look at it for a player moving to another, yeah, I know Bance is working for today. Yesterday I had a nightmare on the camera. I think when you look at a Venketia, sometimes a player needs a move to kind of
Mm.
hit form, and you never know. Maybe for Nketiah, it could be the thing. I know Moyes is an admirer of him.
Yeah,
I
he
think
admires him quite well, actually.
I
Yeah, he does.
think you're looking for a silly figure of around about £40 million for the player.
Yeah, 40 million. But come on, man, Anthony. He come on, he's English international. He can bag a few goals here and there for you. I just feel that the pressure is just too much in a big club like Arsenal Football Club. Maybe that's why
Possibly,
it's
yeah.
not good enough for the club. But
Mm,
maybe at West Ham, he could cut it. You never know. The
it could be
pressure
that.
might be
It could be
down.
that.
He has a good coach in more years who could, groom him in a way that he could positively impact West Ham. You never know.
Mm. I mean, the funny part about you, when you say like he's an England international, not being funny, Tony. If me and you could kick a ball and Gareth Southgate saw us, he'll probably sign us up. We'll be playing for England next. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be one of those. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
but
The
that's
reason why I said,
another debate
exactly the
altogether. That
reason
is.
why I said that is that, oh, come on, of course, but English players are always overpriced assets in the market. These days. Come on, Jude Bellingham. See the crazy price he's going for. If Jude Bellingham, is going for 100 something, um, a mega 40-30 isn't a bad evaluation for Eddie Nketiah in this market. I mean, Kai Havertz is going for £65 million. So
I can't, I just don't know what it's what 40. Wow. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy.
I'm not too sure if I'll be willing to part with £40 million for someone that's kind of, you know, I don't know, mate. I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but like I said, it could be a good fit for the man. You never know. It could be one of
Mm.
those.
But, but if your manager said, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm scourging the market for a striker. Solanke is actually highly sought after. Maybe he won't come to West Ham. Which other striker targets would you be looking at? Because Bowen can't do it alone. He can't do it alone.
Mm.
I really do think that striking options are what David Moyes will be looking at in the January transfer window. Maybe apart from maybe one defender or maybe an extra midfielder, you never know.
Well, we've got Steadtone looking at certain players, and I say, Inteke is one of them.
Mm,
So hopefully there's that. But yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Who Moyes would like to go for? Because I think Steadtine's got more. I mean, they are working together
mm,
in looking for something. But I think Sullivan again, he's going to be the thorn in the
mm.
side. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's going
exactly.
to poo-poo some of the kind of signings because at the end of the day, we spent the Rice money well. When you
Mm,
look at the players we bought in, I think we spent like 122 million
yeah.
on Mavropanos and obviously
Mm,
Ward-Prowse,
mm,
Kudos, and Mavropanos and Alvarez. So we
mm,
did well in the money we
mm.
spent there. But
Yeah.
obviously Sullivan, I don't know if he's going to willing to part with more money in the January. But
Mm,
we do need a striker. I mean, there's no,
yeah. Yeah.
unless kind
Definitely.
of Moyes is going to play Bowen more up top, and then we can that allows
Mm,
Kudos to play more out on the right. It could be
on the
one of those.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. I do agree with you, definitely. Shout out to Mama Flossie. She's still down here with us. Shout out to Jez. Yeah. Merry Christmas. Season greetings to you, my brother. I saw you on Yeti show yesterday having fun, Jez. It's nice to see you having fun, Jez. Big ups to you. It says, Evening, Tony. Ellie Doors and all in the charts. Big ups to you.
Yeah, big up
Arsenal
to
is doing
Jez.
more. Those of you who haven't subscribed to Jazz's channel, of course, it's a legend. It brings all of us together. He's a big guy in this space. So, guys, please go down there and subscribe to him if you've not subscribed to him yet. And of course, he'll be coming up with lots of shows in the turn of next year. See, Tony, I also want to also ask you about the profile, the growing profile of this certain 23-year-old Ghanaian international. That's coming to your football club. See, they always say that when players come from abroad, yeah, they have to literally come down here to prove themselves. They need
Hmm.
maybe technically a season to actually, make the Premiership their home, hone their skills, get to understand, the new terrain, and then kick off from the second season. What would you say about this Ghanaian international? In 15 games, has scored 6 goals, 1 assist in his first season at
Yeah.
West Ham Football Club. Kudos.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, it's the steal of the season, I'd say. What we paid for him,
Mm,
uh, it's paying dividends.
mhm.
When you think about it, we paid virtually half what you paid for Havertz,
Yeah.
and yeah, the man's
Oh,
going to be
oh
good.
my God.
And
Mm.
the only kind of thing that's going to be a concern is obviously we lose him for the Afcon.
Yeah, that would be a very, very big concern because I think the AFCON competition starts from January 11th. I think that's when it
Yeah,
starts. So it's going to be a big, big miss because it's not just only fitting into that jigsaw to spearhead your attack with Bowen this season. But you see, he's a sensational player, lightning speed. He knows where to be. And you know what? Yeah, he also knows where the goals are. He finds the net usually most of the time. He scored
yeah.
6 goals in
Hmm.
the league only this season in 15 games. That's purely a player who really knows his onions, and this is just his first time in the Premiership. In the
Yeah.
second season, he might just be kicking, and for at least an attacking midfielder or a winger to be scoring that kind of goals for you in this first season, in the next season he could be banging in about 15 goals when he gets more comfortable in his own skin in West
Mm.
Ham United. What do you think? What's the prospect, the future of Kudus? Or do you think he's just trying to buy a bigger club to get into in the next season or season to come?
I think it's I think any player that comes into a club and starts hitting the road and banging in goals, they know that
Mm,
obviously other clubs are going to start looking because they know it's going to gain interest.
mm,
Um, but hopefully, when you look at it, the kid might think to himself, "It's a nice setup here. The fans love me. Am I going to get
mm,
this elsewhere?" So when you look at things like, are they actually going to move on? Sometimes they don't. And they
mm,
and like if you look at it, everyone's saying about Bowen and obviously Liverpool, and
yeah.
I've seen some people in the chat saying about Bowen going to Arsenal kind of thing. But uh,
Exactly. Big up, Anthony Herbert
Anthony
is
Herbert,
also in the
yes,
chat. Yeah.
I think it's the fact of Bowen has just signed a new contract. He's
Mm.
very happy where he is, and I don't think we're going to be seeing him moving on too early. Put it that way.
Too early. Yeah, at least
Um,
maybe more 2 seasons before Liverpool starts calling, right?
well, as I jokingly say, you got to remember his father-in-law is Danny Dyer, and there's no way that man's going to do
Ah,
that. And because at least he wants to end up in the part of the foundations of a new motorway
part of the
that's being built.
foundations,
Mm,
exactly. See, moments with Anthony down here, Elidor's TV. See, let's go into the analysis of how the game will look like, and into some specifics with Arsenal and West Ham. See, despite West Ham looking in great shape, in great form, see, you're just coming from beating Manchester United in the league. Definitely, that's a good one. But Arsenal is a different cat in the game. We
mm,
were first just a day ago. If we manage to beat you at the Emirates, we'll go back, to being first and top in the league, and that's a position Arsenal definitely wants to go back in. Maybe that's what the manager is telling them. You need to beat West Ham. You need to beat them. You need to get back to the top of the table to the turn of January. So that would be the leitmotif running through Mikel Arteta and what he wants from the boys come tomorrow. See,
mm.
Anthony, are you pretty confident going into this matchup against Arsenal? Currently, we're second in the league right now, mind you. Aston Villa flopped their lines against Manchester United, a team you did beat just last weekend, and they lost. I think was it yesterday? Yeah, they lost yesterday to Manchester United, whom you beat up two goals to nil. So you know that there will be that urgency from Arsenal to actually
Mm.
want to go back top of the league. What do you think? Do you have confidence going into the Emirates and hoping for a win? What's your confidence level going into that matchup tomorrow?
Well, I talked about this last night, and I actually said, I see it as a 2-2 myself, and
Mm,
not saying it's going to be deja vu because obviously that happened to you last season with us,
mhm,
and you know what, how it ended up after that. But I think if you look at it, no, I feel pretty confident that we're going to score goals against you, and I know obviously you're going to score goals against us because it
Mm.
seems to be the the done thing
Yeah,
when
seem to
when
be
we
the
play
thing.
each other.
Mm.
But it's a case of have we got that little bit of edge? When you look at it, Rice
Mm.
is obviously going to be featuring. That's going to be an interesting one. How he'll feature and
Mm.
how the West Ham
Mm.
fans will take to him,
Mm.
and also it's the fact that we've got some players that can put it about a little bit, and we know you guys don't like being roughed up.
Exactly. See, Tony. Yeah, see, Tony. You've just see, you've just opened a can of worms, yeah, and see if there's any team that can do this, West Ham is the team that can do it. And again, we have a manager who could actually shape shift. He could drift into any kind of technicality. That's David Moyes, and of course, with the physicality of Arsenal, yeah, you always know that there's always teams out there that will make sure that they come into the Emirates, make it a little bit hard for us physically because they know that
Mm,
Arsenal's physicality is just in level one. West Ham have quite physical players. Look at other physical teams we've played this season. Newcastle United beaten down there at St. James Park,
yeah.
not because of the tactics, but because they have more physical players, who outwitted and outlasted Arsenal. Arsenal when they came to St.
Mm,
James Park. Don't forget, West Ham have also beaten Arsenal. That's what I'm saying. The momentum, the mental edge. Personally, that's what I feel. I think West Ham will be feeling, hey, we've done Arsenal dirty this season already.
yeah,
We've
yeah.
beaten them, thrown this big team out of the Carabao Cup. We should be going to the Emirates to actually impose ourselves on Arsenal, try and ruffle them a bit, which is just what you said. Do you think this? Oh, and look at Anthony Herbert. He said Arsenal 7, West Ham. Come
I know
on, Anthony,
he has
wake up
been
from that dream.
he's been giving it to me throughout the chat, Tony. I've been watching some of his messages coming in
Some
there. I
of the
love it.
messages coming in.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
some of them.
exactly. We have 22 people. See a record this week. 22 people in the charts right now watching us live. Anthony,
Brilliant.
thanks for bringing the big fortune down here. For people who came down here to watch us today. Big up to you guys, and please throw in your questions for Anthony for him to answer. But
Make sure
see,
you
yeah,
smash a
Tony,
like as well, guys, while you're watching
smash
the
the
stream,
likes, guys.
please.
Smash the likes. But see, Anthony, yeah, if David Moyes wants to turn this into a physical rigmarole, do you think Arsenal will be up to the task?
Well, but I think if you look at it, if Villa had won that game, you
Hmm.
had no choice but to win tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at it now, that now they've lost, you still got to win that game.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, and that it's getting quite tight at the top. The top four is getting quite tight. So I think
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
you
Mm.
definitely need to get a result, and I think even a draw would not be favourable for you guys if you got that.
Oh,
Uh,
a draw
you
won't be
know,
favorable. We have to beat West Ham, but most in particular, I'm a little bit wary of the physicality that West Ham might bring into the fray. Suchek, is becoming a big revelation in your midfield this season. Kudus also, mind you, despite he knowing the two poles of how to score, he is also a very very physical player. He
mm,
can out muscle players. He could bask in a dash. He's very athletic also. He's also a very very imposing figure. I'm not sure he's 6 foot plus, but he's a very very physical player. Check quite physical too,
yeah,
and of course Alvarez is also looking monstrous too in that midfield. A revelation this season. Tony, you have monsters in the midfield.
we do. Well, funny you say that, Tony, because Alvarez actually is out of the lot of them. He's apparently the smallest one. He's 6'3".
It's his three, but again,
And
his energy levels is
of course,
something different. I've seen him play this season, and he's looking good. You can't outmuscle him that easy. Like you have to be in a dogfight with him.
yeah. I mean, because he can put it about.
Mm. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So that's why I'm saying, and mind you, yeah, Kai Havertz has shown a little bit that he could be that physical force in the middle of the
Mm,
park also this season, apart from Declan Rice. I don't want to touch that area right now, but he's going to be suspended for this matchup. He's not going to be
yes.
there. So that's one physical player out of the, out of the fray. The other person that will be
There
coming
goes your
in
goals.
is Trossard. Exactly.
Yeah.
Trossard coming in, and Trossard isn't the creme de la creme of physicality. So
But do you think he's going to be
game
featuring?
on.
Do you think he'll
Yeah,
feature
yeah,
Trossard?
yeah, yeah, definitely,
Mm,
because he's the only option right now that we have down there. It's either him or Emmy Smith Rowe. And if I'm putting my money on someone that Mikel Arteta would bring in, is definitely Trossard, because Emmy Smith Rowe hasn't gotten a sniff this season, even if he was injured. Now he's okay. He's still not getting a sniff in the team. So I will such think that he will be thinking of a Trossard coming in place of a Kai Havertz.
I have a question I want to ask you in that as well, because
Mm,
obviously, obviously you're saying Havertz is now suspended because he accumulated, the 5 yellows.
yeah, yeah, sure.
You must have a bit of concern because Ben White's, if he gets a yellow card in that, he's suspended for the next game.
He's suspended for the next game, and
Mm,
that's a big problem. That's a big problem. So, and right now Tomiyasu is out. You
yeah.
see, and again, and that's why I blame all these things on our recruitment. Our recruitment has been so horrible, yeah. And this is what we get. So the only option we might have is to actually is to actually force Kivior to go down there.
Oof. Well, that's if he can stay on the pitch for 5 minutes with the challenges he dishes out as well.
Or he puts in Declan Rice down there the same way he did with Thomas Partey. But
Mm,
again, I also heard that Thomas Partey might also be coming into this matchup. So I don't know. I don't know. No one is telling us anything. Everything is being held in secrecy in this football club. So you never know who's coming in, who's coming out. So if he gets a yellow card in that game, only God knows. But again, after this game, I heard that's after this West Ham game, I heard that Thomas Partey is coming back, and Tomiyasu should be back. So that's a plus. So even if Ben White takes a card in this game, I'm not too afraid because Tomiyasu will be back in the next game. So that's what I heard. So
mm.
but if he's not ready and he takes a yellow card in this game, don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But again, what will be the battle in this game come tomorrow, Tony?
Well, I think if you look at it, you've got the kind of you've got the old secret insider. I know we don't want to talk about him too much at the moment, but you've got the secret insider, and
Mm,
obviously the players know this. The manager knows this,
mm,
and know that if you look at your side of things, Arteta's probably had Rice in a one-to-one in the office. Tell me everything about them. What are we looking out
mm.
for? The pros, the cons, the weaknesses, the strengths.
Yeah.
Who's going to do the most damage? And
Mm,
guaranteed Rice has given him quite a lot of
yeah.
information. But at the same point, we know full well, when you think about it, we sold Rice and we then bought in two attackers and a defensive
Yeah.
midfielder.
Yeah.
So when you look at something like that, if Alvarez does a number on Rice, then in certain respects, there goes your kind of strength in your midfield, because
Yeah.
at the moment you can't really exactly rely on Odegaard, or Ghost Guard as some people call him,
Oh
because
my God.
he's just kind of, I don't know what's going through his head at the moment.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, you've got the same with you've got Saka and Martinelli out in the wings, both doing the same kind of, in certain respects, nonsense, because
Nonsense. I agree with you. I agree with you,
they're not
Tony.
they're not giving the same thing as they did last season.
Mm, I totally agree with you. Martinelli in two back-to-back games have missed open net chances, like cutting edge empty net chances. The one against Liverpool, another one against Brighton. Like it's been a horror show with Martinelli, and even this argument came up on my show the other day, and someone asked the question: Has Martinelli developed as a player under Mikel Arteta? It was very interesting. Jez,
Mm,
who is down here, who with due respect down here, he said
yeah.
he hasn't actually, improved as a, as a player. And I do agree with him. He hasn't. In terms of goals, nothing. Assist, nothing. It's not looking good. And again, Bukayo Saka, I think our attack is so predictable. I think most of the time that Arsenal is moving in, into games, they've already watched tapes on how to keep these players quiet. And again, I also do think that Bukayo Saka is burnt out already in just 18 games this season.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, when you was it there, 3, 4 season there, he's virtually played him week in, week out,
Hmm.
and the youngster needs a rest. I mean, like Smith Rowe, a couple of seasons back, was having exactly the same thing. Got injured, and
Hmm.
in my eyes, I don't think that kid's fully recovered from that point
Yeah.
onwards.
Yeah.
And we see that he's been banished to the annals of the club,
Yeah.
and you
Hmm.
only see him on rare occasions. But
Hmm.
not being funny, when you look at the fact of Martinelli and Saka, you can literally write out what they're going to do on the back of a postage stamp.
Yeah.
Take the ball down the
Exactly.
wing, either cut in or they're going to deliver a ball into the box. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. But again, see, yeah, this season, yeah, there have been some games, yeah, that we've always thought that it might be a little bit difficult for Arsenal to face the physicality of those teams when they come to the Emirates. A typical example is Brighton. Before that Brighton game, I even said that Arsenal was going to lose in that game, but when they came, Arsenal somehow, yeah. Took over, the ball possession of that game, dominated that game. We had nothing less than at least 15 shots on goal in the first half, and we
Mm,
couldn't actually even convert most of those goals. In total, it was about 25. Now, that's the sort of dominance that, not really dominance per se, but ball possession is what we usually get mostly when we are at the Emirates this
yeah,
season. So uh,
yeah.
that's just the only thing I'm counting on at the Emirates, even if we don't keep clean sheets at home most of the time. But again, when these teams come to the Emirates, they always car sometimes, and Arsenal always take the win somehow. Do you think this will happen to West Ham? Because at home at the Emirates, it's not a good hunting ground for you, Tony. You should
No,
admit
no,
that.
we've only. I think if you look at it, when we've played you in that, we've won 36 times, and you've won 72, and we've drawn 41. So when you look at something like that, yeah, it's in your favour. There's no to worry about. I mean, I was looking at some stats early on this morning, and
Mm.
they've got you down as a win probability of 71.8% that you're going to win this game. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's
Um,
it's scarier than that, Tony, man.
Well,
It's
of course,
scarier
man. I
than
mean,
that.
we've got a favourable 11%, Tony. So when you look at like that kind of thing, it's all in our favour. You know what I'm saying? 11%. I'll take that with both hands.
Oh my
It,
God, yeah.
it's one of them. Man. I mean, because your form is different from last season,
Hmm.
and I think that's where most teams can turn around and say, you know what, there's a
Hmm.
chance we can get something out of this team.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you watch these guys, yeah, I mean, you're up there. Don't get me wrong, and you're up there on merit. But at the
Yeah.
same point, and you've got to, I mean, I've seen the comments in the chat. You've definitely
Yeah.
got to look at not so much the players. You will look at them because obviously they're the ones that's on the field. But
Mm.
it's yeah, it's that age old question. You've got to
Mm.
look at Arteta and sometimes his tactics.
Mm.
And I think I don't know if it was us or the other game you played where he took forever and a day to make a substitution when you was crying out for one.
Yeah. Exactly. He had it, but again, to be very sincere with you, I don't think he trusts even the bench. And again, when you look at the bench is bare bones. You see, you can't trust a bench that you're looking at and you're seeing Cedric the entertainer sitting down there. It doesn't inspire fear. I know it's laughable, but it doesn't inspire fear when you see Cedric sitting down on the bench. Even the manager knows, and that's why me and some other real Arsenal fans are out here saying, "Hey, we do need massive recruitment in this January transfer window if we're thinking of touching that trophy this season. We
Mm.
need recruitment. Just look at the strikers down there. Eddie Nketiah, the king of Zamunda. This guy scores a hat trick against Sheffield United and close up shop. It's not working. So we don't even have. We're having 25 shots on goal against Brighton. in a whole match, 90 minutes, and we're scoring only 2 goals. Tony, it's not looking good. So, in the January transfer window, we do need a striker who would come in and put in those goals. Likely we should be looking at Ivan Tony, but again, we still do have a big fish to fry right now. And of course, talking about your defense right now, see, you do have Mavropanos down there in your defense, in the heart of your defense. Zuma also is also down there. Also, Emerson is also definitely should be at right back, and also Corral should also be at left back, definitely. But again, see, your two central defenders, yeah. This season, you've managed to score 31 goals into the net this season in the league.
Hmm.
I'm talking of West Ham here, only in the league this season. This
Yep.
season, also, you've also been at the back end of 30 goals conceded. Is that something to herald in this team right now? Do you think it's something enviable? Do you think your defense is something that that covers itself in glory? Are you that confident about Zuma and Mavropanos in the long run, handling your defense? And in this matchup, are you that confident that they won't be steamrolled when they do come in contact with Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus running the lines and trying to link up play, and also Bukayo Saka could turn up anytime in the game?
Mm. I think the problem with our defence, we've always been exactly the same way. We will score goals, but we also concede a hell of a lot of goals as well. It seems to be
Mm,
the West Ham way. I don't know if we treat that. I
yeah,
also used to joke that West Ham players had a roll of red carpet underneath their armpit. So every time a
yeah,
player went through, they just kind of rolled the red carpet out, and there you go and score.
yeah.
Um, the problem is you got Ogbonna, got the
Mm,
experience, but has he got the legs? We
mm,
bought in Mavropanos. He's still got, I think, in certain respects, gel because he's not as featured as much.
mm,
Good. We bought him for 42 million. We expected a lot more out of him,
mm,
and there's a mistake in him.
yeah.
There's quite a few mistakes in him, etc. Zuma,
Mm.
he's another one. Zuma, he's got it, but again, it's one of those. The brain thinks it, but the messages going down to the feet and the body and
Exactly,
that are still way
exactly.
behind, and that's
Mm,
where I think our problems lies. I mean, Emerson's come good for us.
yeah, yeah,
Since we've bought him, and Kufau, he's one of those. He's a no nonsense player.
yeah.
They had his doubts about him, but at the same point, he still comes up trumps. He still kind of can
Mm,
make a burst of pace down the wing. He can supply towards Bowen, Kudos, etc., and he can also basically deliver a ball into the box as well. So we've still got
yeah.
something there. But as for centre defenders, yeah, I put hand on heart, Tony. They were a bit suspect at times. Yeah,
They're a
there's no
bit
two ways about
suspect,
it.
definitely. But again, you've conceded 30 goals this season. So do you think that plays a role in your positioning for Europe? Because you're definitely looking at Europe this season, yeah. And mind you, you've raked up to 30 points this season, so
Yeah,
that's no low feat. That's something good. 30 points. You have a
yeah.
chance of going to 33 points. Tomorrow. So, do you think right now, yeah, that Europe next season is going to is something you think you can have a shout in? Right
I think
now?
so. Yeah,
Looking
definitely.
at the
Because
team and looking at
well,
your defense, how you conceding goals. That's what I'm saying.
yeah. Well, I mean, we all can see. I mean, most teams can see goals. I mean, we sometimes go above average, but that's a
Yeah.
speciality with us. You know what I'm saying? But at the
Yeah.
same point, it's the fact of from being in the Europa Conference, which
Mm,
we didn't do well the first time. Second time, obviously, we went on and we won the cup, which then
yeah.
has put us into the Europa League. Now, like I said, we're doing well in that, and
Mm,
we are knocking on the door for the Champions League. So
yeah.
that's an achievement in itself. I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about it, we've done that by playing well and
Mm,
defending well in certain respects and winning games to put us in that position. So
mm,
you can't dismiss that kind of thing. Yeah, league and cup games, as you know, they're two different games. They've
yeah,
always have been two
definitely.
different games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if our speciality is kind of doing well in Europe, then yeah, great,
Yeah, definitely.
go with it, go with it.
Yeah. What's up with James Ward-Prowse? He's definitely going to be playing tomorrow. how do you think David Moyes is going to employ him tomorrow? How is your team going to look like? Because I know the stars will be coming out tomorrow. Paqueta will also be down there. Very, very important player to you. Very instrumental to your attack. He progresses the ball quite well. So you guys are coming with quite a very, very ferocious, quartet of attackers. And I really do think that Bowen is going to start. Paqueta is going to start. Ward Prowse is going to be tucked just in behind Bowen tomorrow, and also Kudus might also be, causing damage on the left. Mind you, we'll also be talking about that battle between Kudus and Zichenko on the left hand side. Tony, that's a tasty, tasty one. But just before you go there, James Ward Prowse.
Yeah, he's a little bit off form, but
Mm,
what player doesn't kind of have a little bit of hit and miss? Not being funny,
mm,
you never know. This could be the game that he actually turns up for because, as you
yeah.
said, when you're playing the bigger teams, you tend to find that little bit of extra energy and reserve in yourself, and it's
Mm,
kind of like, yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna stick it on this one.
Yeah.
And not being funny, you guys are good at giving away free kicks. So
Mm.
if it's anywhere outside that 25-yard box,
Yeah, 25, yeah,
uh,
box.
you're
You
gonna be
might just you might
you're
just
gonna be
send it in.
you're gonna be doing this, Tony,
Mm.
looking away and hoping for the best.
Looking
There's
away.
no, and then hearing for the the
Exa-
scream and or the
Oh my God,
the
no, it's
ecstasy who
not
saves
that.
it.
No, and one of the things, yeah, about this West Ham team, yeah, you have dangerous players. You know that you have the resources to, to outwit any team, and
Mm,
that's why when I see, when I saw your game against Liverpool, yeah, it was a bit, underwhelming because
yeah.
I really do think you have the resources, yeah, to actually outwit any team in the league. I really do think you can beat a City, yeah, on a good day
Mm,
with the resources you have. Yeah, with Ward Prowse, Bowen is looking good this season. How many goals does he have this season, Tony? How many
you
goals
got.
does Bowen have this season?
I've lost count. Saturday, 8 or 9, I think he is something like that.
8 or 9 or
I
something
think
like
it
that.
is.
He's looking good this season in about 17 games. He's totally looking good. Paqueta, a danger man, any day, anytime. Kudus scoring 6 goals already this season in 15 games. He's looking good. So you have this wealth of attacking players and
Oh,
and, and players that can actually progress the ball and cause damage to any team.
yeah. I corrected myself there. He's actually scored 11 Premier League goals.
11 Premiership. I'm not. That's big. That's huge. Come on, Tony. You
Mm,
have to give it to him.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
big. At least he scored. He has more goals right now than the entire Manchester United attack combined. That's how bad it looks like. But see, let's talk about the battle that's going to be there tomorrow between Mohamed Kudus, and Zinchenko. I know you, Tony. Tell me the truth, yeah. I can see your heart from here, yeah. Because when I called that name Zichenko, I just see you. I saw you lock your lips in. See, I know this is a tasty one. I know this is a tasty one for you. Kudus and Zinchenko. What do you think? Take it away.
Well, I think if you look at it, they've got to make sure that Kudos is wearing the extra long pair of shorts in that because
Oof.
Zinchenko's going to be in that pocket all day long.
Mm.
Um, Kudos is going to twist him up,
Oh
y-
my
you know,
God.
and yeah, it's one of those. And I think I've seen the comments in previous Arsenal chats about Zinchenko. Um, is he going to be found out? I think he will be.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and again, then it's going to raise that question mark yet again on the player.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I see, Tony. Yeah, you've spoken like a true West Ham fan. But you know what? Yeah, I'll be very sincere with you. Zini isn't looking good.
Mm,
Zini isn't looking good. Zichenko, an Ukrainian general. Yeah, he plays in the midfield, yeah, for Ukraine. He's always tucked into that central midfield, conundrum, yeah. Sits in that midfield with Ukraine, and he plays a perfect game. He's also, their captain down there. He has a lovely game, but again, he comes into Arsenal, yeah. We've tucked him deep into that left hand side, yeah, and he hasn't been looking good. He came out, yeah, to a Manchester United legend and told the legend, "Hey, I can't defend. I can't defend." And
mm.
people still don't believe that this guy can't defend. He has told them, I can't defend, but he's still playing in that left back position. Yet going forward, I have no problem with him. He can overlap in this inverted nonsense that's going on in the league, at this time. But we
Yeah.
had a player at the start of the season called Julian Timber. He was there, and there was this balance between, inversion rates and knowing that you also have to defend and run back with massive speed. Julian Timber, he runs quite well, very speedy, athletic also. He can run
Mm,
the channels quite easily, yeah. But Zinchenko, yeah, going forward is okay, but coming back, it leaves nothing to be desired.
no,
Very poor, and
no.
his sense of awareness, when indeed he does make it to that back four to actually start doing defending, he's not technically not aware of where he is, how to
No.
defend, or even how to mark a player when defending. So it's a very big problem, and I think Kudus might win this battle. It's a very tasty one.
We,
So
we, sorry, mate, I was going to say because
yeah.
we're good at basically on the counters and this is where you've got to be careful. If he pushes up too much and he loses the
Mm,
ball,
mm.
you're exposed straight away on that right hand side.
Night night.
We just lay the ball down there. Kudos gets it, and then yeah, who knows what could happen at that point. But
Yeah, yeah.
I think it must be a concern for you guys, knowing that
Mm.
if he does lose that ball,
He does lose that
um,
ball.
has he got the pace to get back in time?
I don't, and that's the thing, Tony. It's good you raised that point. He doesn't have the pace. Yeah, he has decent pace, but doesn't really have the pace to outwit a player like Kudus. But again, that would be a tasty one. I would like to
Mm,
really see that battle tomorrow. Of course, we want to see good football, but again, I also want Arsenal to win. So in that battle, it's really one that we really have to watch out for tomorrow. Which other battle should we talk about? I'm talking of what about Paqueta? I'm looking at Paqueta and Paqueta and maybe Benjamin White.
again, we know Paqueta's he's got a flair about himself.
Hmm.
I think if you look at it, if he's gonna show, big up
Big up to
John Sinclair.
John Sinclair.
Yeah, big up
John
John
Sinclair. Big
Sinclair.
up to you,
Good to
man.
see him in here.
Yeah.
I think the problem is with if Ben White um, doesn't kind of keep his head switched on,
Yeah.
then that yellow card could be coming out earlier than the anticipated kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not being funny, if you just want to leave just where the goal is, just to the left hand side of the goal, if you leave a little square there in that, so Paquette can do his little samba dance when he puts one away. If you don't
Yeah.
mind doing that for us, it'd be nice, just when he scores a goal.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
yeah, it's one of those, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Paqueta can, well, you saw when he unlocked Man
Mm,
United with that ball over and Bowen
mm,
latched onto it, and of course it came out of Vanana and back in again, and he
yeah.
scored. So yeah, it's what he's got.
Yeah, definitely. See, look at Declan Rice as a player. He left your football club. Do you think there's a gaping hole tucked in that your midfield right now since he left your football club? And again, what danger do you see him bringing into this game? Do you see him kind of like being a little bit more upfront in this game, being that midfield general that Arsenal want him to be? Of course, there'll be big questions about the players that will be playing around him. But again, do you think he's going to impose himself in this West Ham midfield of Socek, Alvarez, and the rest of them?
This would be an interesting one because obviously you got to think. We took
Mm,
him from Chelsea, made him into what he is, and then you
mm,
guys bought him. And as much as I jokingly say it, you've got a hammer that's in the heart of your midfield, basically, that's running your club. He's got to kind of get that out of his head because that must be something that's going to play on his mind. The
mm,
fact of now he's employed by Arsenal. He's got to play
yeah.
for Arsenal, but yet
Mm,
this is the club that brought him up to make him an England international, to
mm.
make him captain of their club. Going to be the
To make
future.
him an European general, also, he won
Absolutely,
the European
he's going to
thing.
be the future captain of your club because I guarantee that's going to happen.
Oh, Tony, you make that hurt, but it's okay.
It's going to happen. I mean, look at Anthony over. Okay, I just see your
Yeah.
twin on the other show. He talks. I love you, Anthony Herbert. Absolutely great, mate. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think the it was, everyone kind of felt, it's a losing Declan Rice is a big loss for West Ham.
Mm,
But the fact of getting in Ward Prowse, getting in Kudos, getting in
Mm,
Alvarez. Like I said, we
mm,
then got 2 attacking midfielders and 1 defensive
yeah.
midfielder. So we bought
Mm,
three players out of 1. So in certain respects, we have kind of filled that niche that Rice,
yeah. Yeah.
gave West Ham. But
Yeah.
tomorrow, I can't. I mean, he may push on,
Mm,
but I think he'll be more sitting, as a defensive midfielder tomorrow,
yeah. Yeah.
just to
Definitely.
counteract, because he knows obviously what we can do. He knows that
Definitely.
we don't always push on sometimes when we should do, but the
Yeah.
fact of we can still push on a break, and we've done that quite a few times on
Yeah.
counters, and he knows that. So he's
Yeah.
more likely going
Definitely.
to be. Arteta's probably going to channel him to use his strength as a
Mm,
defensive thing to cut out anything in that respects. But
yeah.
like I said to
Yeah.
you, if Moyes decides that he's going to put Alvarez to do a number on Rice,
Yeah.
and he kind of stifles Rice's
Yeah.
creativity
Yeah.
as a defensive midfielder,
Mm,
that's where your question marks, right? Because at the end of the day, in there, I know Odegaard seems to kind of raise his game when he plays us,
yeah. Exactly.
but
Exactly.
he
Those
but
are
he
the kind
needs
of
to.
games
He's
he
been doing
loves
nothing.
to. Exactly. He's been doing nothing in a trail of games. For the past 5, 6 games, he's been looking wary, and he's been tossed about by bigger players. He hasn't found that form yet. Again, he's been poor. He's been poor, and it's surprising because this is a player that got 15 goals for us last season,
Hmm.
7 assists. He's our captain. Yeah, let's get that correctly. He's our captain. Is the one we look in we look up to cut to cut in into defense, create opportunities. Yeah, but this season he hasn't done that. Yeah, he has glossed he's glossed past some of his shocking performances this season by scoring some certain goals this season. It has gotten him out of jail sometimes, but it
I
can
agree on that.
only get you out of jail only for a while. Later on, it will be exposed. And he, as a person right now, is being exposed. Shout out to Carl Rossi, yeah? He
Yeah,
gives us £5 down here. Big ups to you, my brother. Thank you for showing some love down here for us.
thanks, Carl.
Big ups.
Appreciate
He
that
gets a
comment.
po. I'm down here with Ellie Doors TV, yeah. And
Appreciate that,
he
Carl.
says, great show, Tony and Ellie Doors. Yeah, definitely. Real ones like you will definitely appreciate what Tony from Ellie Doors TV is bringing down to the show today. And that's why I invited him. So big ups to you. But see, Anthony, there's also something I also want you to look into. Do you think that David Moyes will come into the Emirates tomorrow to keep a low block and catch Arsenal on the counter attack? He knows he has fast paced Kudus to count on a counter attack. He knows also that he can also depend on the trickery of Paqueta to actually help aid that attack. Almost the same thing that helped Nottingham Forest. Keep
Hmm.
a mid block or a low block. Stifle, by defending as a collective unit against Newcastle. You have a fast-paced Elanga. Tap, tap, boom, you're out of the space. Tap, tap, boom, you send the ball across to Chris Wood. He gets a hat trick. Easy.
Yeah,
Do you think that's the same type of tactic that David Moyes is going to look into? Okay, good. Arsenal, they keep good ball possession at the Emirates. I'll allow them have the whole ball possession. Now, this is what we're going to do. Catch them on the break. Kudus is down there. Paqueta is down there. Ward Prowse is down there. And, anything could be said off. And if there's a free kick or if anyone brings down Ward Prowse in and about the yard
yeah,
area, a free kick is coming in. There's a goal threat down there. Do you think that's what David Moyes might be planning to do to Arsenal
possibly. Yeah, possibly. I think if
tomorrow?
you look at, I think you've hit it virtually on the head there. It's a case of get you on the counter, because obviously we know you're a pressing team. You'll push on. You'll try and create um, movement in our final third. So if we can counteract that and
Mm,
basically kind of stifle your play and then get you on the break, yeah, I think that's going
mm,
to be his way forward.
mm, mm.
Definitely think that'd
With
be the case.
Definitely. Which other players in that Arsenal team do you think you're kind of wary about that could cause any problems for you? And again, do you really think that if Trossard comes in, because Kai Havertz will be playing tomorrow, so do you
Mm,
think if Trossard comes in, mind you, Trossard loves to play against West Ham. He scored a few crackers against
this
against
is
West
true.
Ham as a team.
This is
He
true.
enjoys playing against West Ham.
Mm,
Do you think if he comes in, do you think it would offer a little bit of more of a goal scoring threat, more of a threat in and about that central left midfield in that game tomorrow? Than Kai Havertz will actually bring to the game. Do you see any change in dynamics that Trossard will bring into that game
yeah, I
tomorrow?
think I think it's more set up for Trossard because,
Mm,
as you said, it's that kind of type of game that Trossard would seem to excel in. Whereas with Havertz, um, he would just do his usual stuff. But
mm,
yeah, it's one of those. So in certain respects, maybe having him suspended is not a bad thing for you because you can bring him in, Trossard.
yeah, yeah.
For me, when it comes to your set pieces, the corners and the free kicks, the one that always seems to kind of pop up for you,
Mm,
not just against us, but in quite a few other games,
mm,
is like Gabriel. He always seems to
mm.
find space to be in there to score a goal.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, again, I think Arsenal, yeah, the thing that has actually made us tick this season, it's not really about our midfielders or our attacking talent. I do think we have a good defensive pair. I think that
Mm,
pair has really helped us this season. Mind you, even if Benjamin White has been having dwindling kind of performances this season, uh, still is still a unit when it comes to that Arsenal back four. Arsenal is looking good defensively. We're the best defensive team in the league, mind you. And
mm.
Tony is going to be very, very Hockling task for you to actually score against Arsenal at the Emirates. You might score a goal or so, but the proof is in the pudding. Arsenal is the best defensive team in the league this season.
Yeah,
Does that
yeah.
pose any problem for you? Do you think that Saliba will be coming into this game looking to hash it out with Bowen? And do you think Gabriel might have a bone or two to pick with Kudus when it comes calling into that 18-yard box of Arsenal? Do you think Arsenal will look a little bit rough and tumble in that 18-yard box belonging to Arsenal,
Yeah,
swatting your
because
attacks?
when you look at that, I think, yeah, you're saying Gabriel and Saliba are a good partnership, but the problem is
Mm,
you've got to look at that there. Look at last season. Once Saliba got injured,
mm,
Gabriel wasn't the same player.
yeah.
And this is the thing. You imagine, I'm touch wood, it doesn't
Tony,
happen.
why can't I ever disagree with you? You speak so much fact and so much truth, yeah, that I can never argue with any truth you say. Fact
it's
upon fact upon fact. Big
it's
up
one.
to Luca AFC. That's
Yeah,
another
big up
great
Luca.
guy in the channel, man. Big ups to you, Luca AFC. Go subscribe to his channel. Great guy. Yeah, Tony, you were saying something.
If Saliba gets injured, and like I said, God forbid that doesn't happen, but you imagine if he gets injured, then we saw what
It's
happened last
finished.
season. Yeah,
We're finished. We're
yeah,
finished. It's
yeah.
it's over. It's over. It's over. Because he is the only thing keeping that Arsenal team together. If he goes, it collapses, and that's why I want us to go into the transfer window and go get a right-sided, defensive, central defender to come in and help us out. But again, I also heard that there will be some players coming in on loan, like I heard Inacio that plays for Sporting Lisbon. I heard that
Hmm.
deal to bring him in has already been struck, but I don't know. That's what I'm hearing, and
Yeah,
Inacio
yeah,
is a
yeah.
very, very good player. So if we can be able to get these loan deals and a big time striker coming in, it will do us lots of good. Tony, we've come to the end of the show, but again, I just want to really understand. Yeah, we're going to talk about the prediction for this game, but just before we get into that, Tony, um, look at the transfer window. Look at your team. Where do you think needs strengthening? Because you just came up to the show, yeah. In the first few minutes when you started the show, you said, "Hey, West Ham, we're looking at getting into Europe next season." And the
Mm,
Europe you're talking about might not just be Europa League, because when you're in 30 points this season, in 17 games, that's huge. You're up there. Even Aston Villa that lost yesterday, they they got right now they have about 39 points. You're not far off. A
No,
few
no,
losses here and there, from the top teams, in which teams right now are not really looking good. Arsenal haven't hit a gear. City haven't hit a gear. All
yeah,
these other teams haven't hit a gear. So it's fair game for anyone. Fair game for West Ham.
mm.
Looking at that January transfer window, do you think you can go down there and get in players? If so, which areas are you thinking of strengthening? Which areas do you think will be okay for you to bring in these players? And what players are you really looking at? Or what players do you think will help you strengthen those individual areas?
I think we definitely need another defensive defender. We need one of
Mm,
those. We
mm,
also need, we definitely 100% need a striker. But
yeah,
also, we need out in the left wing. That's where we're weak. I mean, Ben Rama
yeah,
and Fornals,
yeah. Finance, not good enough.
hit and
But
miss.
but
They're both
again,
hit and
what
miss.
happened to Ben Rama? Ben Rama came with lots of reputation, like not really huge, but we really felt that he was gonna, create magic
Yeah, I think
at
it
West
comes
Ham.
down to
But
what we said early on, like with Ray. I think it is exactly the same thing happened with Ben Rama. It is, from Brentford coming to us,
yeah,
even that's a step up. From
mm,
Brentford to us, there's a step up. And I think if you look at that point there, it was too much. And
mm,
at the time, when you look at this skinny fella that turns up at West Ham, he's got
mm,
skill about him, but he's going to get knocked off the ball. A gust of wind will come along and he's going to be blown off the ball.
exactly. Yeah.
Now he's beefed up a little bit, and
Mm,
then he still doesn't look like the player you want him to be. You expect more out of the player. He could.
yeah.
It's, if you can basically, if you slice the two players and stitch them together, then you've got
Mm,
the perfect player. But we know that's
mm.
not going to happen.
That's not
Um,
gonna happen, man.
but
Mm,
that's the way it should be in that. I mean, last
yeah.
thing I'll say to you, what do you class as your predicted lineup for Arsenal?
Yeah. For Arsenal, see David Raya will be starting that game for me. I really see. It's not like I really think is the best out there right now, but I just think is the better of the nonsense we have right now.
Mm,
Ramsdale can't concentrate in the game for 90 minutes. I think Raya might be the one, but again, I'm not so confident about him right now, and he's still jittery, and he hasn't actually made that position his number one. But I'll take him. I'll take him. Uh, Saliba, right-sided centre mid, um, central defender. Sorry.
yeah,
Gabriel, of course, definitely. I want to see him in. Um, of course, Benjamin White coming in that right back position. I think is the best we can have there. Um, hmm, Zichenko. I'm thinking in between Zichenko or Kivio because both of them are, a bit suspect.
yeah,
Kivio can
yeah.
defend, Zini can defend, but Zini can give you that extra quality when he does move forward in that, inverted role. So, I'll take the one that can actually give me an attacking threat. So I'll take Zini down there because we don't have
Hmm.
any other person to actually offer us any other soccer. So I really think that Zini will be utilized in that left back position. Going into the midfield, Kai Havertz will be out of that game, so definitely um, Trossard will be coming in. Uh, Most of the time, Trossard doesn't usually have a good first half, so definitely if he's not playing quite well, I might like to see Emmy Smith Rowe being introduced into this game. His fit is okay to play. Mikel Arteta, why isn't Emmy Smith Rowe having a sniff in this team? Because Chelsea came in for him. Remember, Chelsea came in for him for about £40 million just in the summer. So
Yeah.
why keep this guy? You don't want to use him. He's not going to play. He's always injured. Give him away to Chelsea and also weaken the enemy. But
Mm.
I have blockheads
Yeah,
doing
we can
business
get
at
it.
Arsenal that it's a big problem for us. So I don't know. Use the guy. Use him. He's on the bench. Use him.
I'll
Because
take him at West Ham.
you
I'll
take
definitely
him,
take
right?
him. Yeah.
Exactly, because
Mm.
he's gonna. I don't know why. Why keep him on the bench and don't want to use him? Then sell him and allow someone else to come in. So, Mikel Arteta, I don't understand him. But again, I would like to see Trossard start. And if Trossard have kind of like a mixed kind of, uh, uh, dwindly kind of game tomorrow, I would introduce Emmy Smith Rowe into that left-sided centre mid. Of course, Odegaard. Looking at our bench, we don't have anyone down there anyway. So who comes in? None. No one. So I will put Odegaard as the attacking mid, sitting just in front of our midfield. Declan Rice also in our protecting our back four in that defensive midfield role. Um, yeah, Odegaard, and then Bukayo Saka definitely, um, and then Gabriel Jesus.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think that would do it. Martinelli.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm a bit confused about him, but I'll let him play because we don't have anyone from the bench to actually come in for him. It would have been a different issue if Kai Havertz was in, and then you could say, okay, put Trossard in that left wing, yeah, and then Kai Havertz should play. But it's not possible. Kai Havertz is not there. Martinelli's not giving us performances that's befitting of a left winger playing for Arsenal Football Club. So
Hmm.
it's nothing. We're done. We're done. So Martinelli should play because we have no one to come in place of him. The person that should be coming in place of him, who is Trossard, will be coming in place of Kai Havertz, who is not playing in the game tomorrow. So it's kind of like a mixed one. But again, Emmy Smith Rowe could still play in that role too. But I don't think this manager in my football club understands the need of switching up our attacking threat, and he might just want to keep it simple and
Mm.
blameless against West Ham. Mind you, West Ham have the edge over us because they've beaten us this season, so he would want to tighten things up just a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he will be a little bit more wary about the threat that West Ham, poses to us tomorrow. What's your own first 11? And you can also give footnotes, also like I did.
Mm. Well, I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow for the game, so this will be my first live stream I've done since I've had the
Oh,
layoff. So it's going to be good doing
yeah,
that.
that would be
So
good. That would be good.
yeah, if any of you guys want to jump on, just let me know on that, and I'll send the link out to you guys.
Yeah, because me too. I have a watch along on that game too. I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow. But of
So
course,
it's good, good.
we'll make it open to anyone that could pop in.
Yeah,
Can pop
definitely,
in. Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
But Tony, it's been a pleasure being on.
yeah,
Really
yeah, yeah.
enjoyed it. Been
Just
good.
just before you go,
Mm.
what's your quick first 11 for that game, please? Before you go.
So for me, obviously, it's going to be Ariola going in goal. Then you're going to have Kufau, Zuma, Agerd, because I think he's going to be swapped for Mavropanos.
Mm,
Also Emerson out on the left. Then you're going to have Suchek, Alvarez, Kudos,
yeah.
Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, and Bowen. So that's my 11.
Yeah, guys, you've seen it. Tony was here. Tony has delivered. See, what will be your prediction for that game? We've not talked about
Uh,
that. What's
2-2.
gonna be a
I'm going with
2-2?
2-2. I'm sitting on that fence. Yeah, I'm sitting on that fence. It's one of those. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those.
But you should
You
be confident. You should be confident of this.
I've
I'm not impressed with that, Tony. You
You've
should be.
invited me on the show, Tony. I've got to be humble to my guest. My host. I've got to be humble to the host. So I'm going to
You
say
see,
2-2.
you should be mounting off right now, Tony. Man, you should be mounting
I'm a
off,
humble
man.
man, Tony. I'm
I
a
know,
humble
I
man,
know,
Tony.
I
It's
know.
the case. Okay, we're going to nick it 2-1. Okay, that's better for you. Okay, I feel
Okay,
more
that's
comfortable.
better for me. See, Tony, guys in the chat, see, go subscribe to Ellie Doors TV. Yeah, see, you've seen what he brings to the table. This is how he talks football. Clear, crystal clear, no arguments, just easy going. It tells you, he hits the point, yeah, and that's why I like this man, yeah. Tony, talk to these people, yeah. Let them know what you do extensively. Let them know what you do. Let them know your channel. Let them know where they could find you, and tell them why your channel should be somewhere they should come and play around with.
Yeah, so it's early football. Sorry, you got me doing exactly the same thing, Tony. It's early doors football TV. Obviously, yeah, you can see behind me, I'm a West Ham man, but I
Mm.
also talk about, I love football in general. All types of football being played. That's amateur football, Sunday football, grassroots, a non-league. I'll talk about it all basically. So anyone who wants to have a chat at any time, just DM me, etc., and we can go down that route. But there's some great people in the chat that I've built some good friends with. My esteemed host on my side here, and that he's a great guy as well, and it's a pleasure to be on his channel. And like I said, there's some real ones in the chat that
Yeah.
I've made some good friends with over the over this year.
Mm.
But yeah, definitely, it's been great. It's been good being involved. It's good being back. I've had a bit of good few months off.
Yeah.
So being back is been great, and like that Carl comment that Carl just put there, great to see me back on there.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be
Yeah.
back, basically.
Yeah, glad to be back. And Tony, please
And
never leave us alone. Never leave us
no, of
alone.
course.
We
And I will
want you to
say this:
keep doing shows, man.
where's that? Where's Abs? I thought the man was going to be coming on, kind of thing.
Yeah,
He was.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The man's,
Actually,
you know what it is, Tony. The man's embarrassed. He knows that it's going to go wrong, and he
he
don't
knows
want
he's
to
gonna go.
face the pressure. Don't want to face the pressure. Yeah, he don't want to face the pressure. Abs, love you, man. Love you.
See, Bant, wherever you are, Tony has just, dropped the gauntlet right now. And yeah, we have to go to, and again, Tony, it would be nice to come down to your channel and have a show on
Definitely,
your
mate.
channel. So
Definitely.
I will tell Bant, because it would be good to, have a kind of like an exchange between my channel and your channel, So let's put one or two things together,
Well,
and
maybe think about this then, Tony. Yeah, after tomorrow's game,
yeah.
we have a little quick chat on that, and we can probably do an after-match review.
Yeah. A review or a
Mm.
post view or post game
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
yes, sounds good.
yeah.
Sounds
Then I
good.
can bring Bant in and let's have a good old boy toss out. And see what happened after that game. See, guys, I couldn't get through all your charts. I tried. Darren Sullivan was down here. The
Yeah,
assembled was
good to
down
see him in
here.
there as well.
Darren, I love Darren, man. Darren, man. He says assembled. Maybe he's a striker, and that's why he dribbles with his head down all the
It's
time.
true. This is true.
Darren doesn't
This is
like
true.
Martinelli. He doesn't like him in that team. He wants him out. See ya, guys. Join Elidor's TV for the watch along tomorrow on his channel. Because I'm that fair. So go join him on his channel. Me
Yes,
too. I
Babs.
have a watch along for that matchup tomorrow. I'll be with Bant. I'll be with the usual suspects. Also, I might be with Yeti if Yeti decides to pop in tomorrow. I would
Mm,
also be with my another of my partner, Wolfang Division, with down here with us too.
yeah, good old
Who's
Wolfie.
a big
Yeah,
regular on my channel, and I love that brother to the core. So, guys, join both Anthony. You can alternate between all of us, and again, we are in the same community, so you could always show love to our brother
exactly.
Tony from Ellie Doors, and you can also come down to show some love to me, Anthony. Thank you for popping in
You're welcome,
today,
my friend.
and
You're
hopefully
welcome.
we get to do one or two things quite soon. And
Definitely, mate. Definitely, my
may
friend.
the force be with you tomorrow and with me tomorrow. So let's see.
Indeed, mate. Indeed.
All right,
Take it easy. Thanks
everyone,
again.
take care. Yeah,
Everyone in the
big ups,
chat,
everyone.
take care. Enjoy
Take care.
yourselves. Bye bye
Big
now.
love. Safe.